Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special edition of We Love It Raw, 25 years of The Undertaker. On tonight's show, you're going to hear different entrance themes of the past 25 years of The Undertaker. You're also going to hear me talk about different matches throughout the 25 years of The Undertaker. And later, I'm going to talk about Undertaker Week on the WWE Network. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, We Love It Raw, 25 years of The Undertaker, starts now. November 1990, Survivor Series. We have the $1 Million Man and his $1 Million team with a mystery partner to be announced versus the American Dream Team, captained by the late, great WWE Hall of Famer, Dusty Rhodes. Now everybody in 1990 who was a wrestling fan at that time was wondering who was the mystery partner of the $1 Million Man. Who would be joining his team? And the $1 Million Man would say, from Death Valley, weighing in at 299 pounds, I give to you the Undertaker. And when the Undertaker's theme hit, we saw this man come out with Brother Love. And nobody knew who this guy was. Not even me. Nobody knew what kind of impact this guy would have. A lot of people were thinking, this guy's a fluke. This guy's nobody. The Undertaker? Really? And he joined with the $1 Million Man, but it would be significant because he would be on a team that would win, even though the Undertaker wasn't at the end of that match part of the team, but he would be part of the winning team. He would eventually be counted out when he had the fight with the late great Hall of Famer Dusty Rhodes, and he got counted out. But The Undertaker did not care. He came in, and he made an immediate impact in the World Wrestling Federation. And it would go a long way 25 years later. But after that match, as part of the $1 Million team, 1991 would roll around, and he would face Hulk Hogan for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. Now, this would come under a lot of scrutiny, because a lot of people then were thinking, wait a minute, I should be in line for the World Wrestling Federation title. Why is this guy getting all the admiration and all the accolades? guy has been here just for 1 year, and already you're putting him in the match for the World Wrestling Federation title. Vince McMahon wanted to try something really different. He wanted to see how The Undertaker would be as World Wrestling Federation champion. That is why he had him face Hulk Hogan at the next year's Survivor Series. And that's why Vince McMahon would have The Undertaker win the World Wrestling Federation title. And it would also be a major accomplishment for a guy fairly new to the WWF. He would go on, he'd beat Hulk Hogan for the World Wrestling Federation title, and he would be a very good champion. He was the type of champion Vince McMahon wanted to see. He brought hope to the World Wrestling Federation. Now down the line, of course, The Undertaker would eventually lose the World Wrestling Federation title, but he would win it again on multiple occasions, and I will talk to you about that as I progress with the show. So now let's fast forward from 1991 to 1994. The Undertaker is 4 years into the World Wrestling Federation. The Undertaker is starting to, as we say, evolve into a more mind games, if you would put it, type of character in the WWF. But go back a couple of months ago, in 1994, nobody has seen The Undertaker. A lot of people are asking, where is The Undertaker? Where did he go? Did he go and jump ship to WCW? Is he injured? Or did he get suspended? It turned out to be none of that. Vince McMahon back in 1994 wanted to go with an angle we have never seen in the likings of sports entertainment. He would have The Undertaker off WWF television for a while. He would then bring in Naked Gun 33 in the Star, Leslie Nielsen, and his counterpart in the movie, and they would be on the trail of The Undertaker, because Vince McMahon had it where they would be getting reports of sightings, hearings, voices of The Undertaker. Then Vince McMahon went on further and had the $1 Million Man come around. Now this guy, the $1 Million Man, was the guy who brought in The Undertaker back in 1990. So what better way to fool the fans and say, I found The Undertaker, he's coming back out, SummerSlam 1994, Continental Airlines Arena in New Jersey and Newark. And a lot of people, including myself, were like, wow, he's coming back. He didn't jump ship, he wasn't suspended, he wasn't hurt. But what type of Undertaker are we going to see? A leaner, fitter Undertaker, or a fatter, bulgier Undertaker? But then Paul Bearer would come into the fray, and he would say, I found my Undertaker, my superpower. So Paul Bearer would be in the middle of the ring, urn in hand, lights out, spotlight comes out from the urn, and you would hear this theme song. And with that, you would see another Undertaker emerge into the Continental Airlines Arena in New Jersey. So now here's the question. Who was the real Undertaker? Who was the fake Undertaker? And that was quickly put to rest. Paul Bearer's Undertaker would win. Leading to the question, why would the $1 Million Man bring in a fake Undertaker? That question is still unanswered to this day. So that was a good job by Vincent McMahon putting into that storyline angle. And it was creative and it was unique. And I liked it very, very much. So now let's go a couple more years into The Undertaker's career. Let's go into 1996. The Attitude Era. A time of foul language, obscenity, graphic nature. You name it, they got it. They got pulled off. And we were introduced to a new type of structure in the World Wrestling Federation in 1996. A steel cage match. Now, other cage matches of the World Wrestling Federation were just 4 blue metal bars surrounding the ring. With this new cage that was introduced in 1996 was steel with a roof. And when The Undertaker came out in 1996, he fought Mankind. Now, Mankind was a brand new character brought in by Vince McMahon, and he was portrayed by Mick Foley, who would later go on to be a WWE Hall of Famer and an author and comedian. And what we saw leading into the Attitude Era was a more meaner and more demonic Undertaker. We saw an Undertaker in 1996 that would be a Undertaker of mind games, of playing with your head, as you may want to put it. And he did just that when it came to his feuds with Mick Foley, aka Mankind. And it all started at the King of the Ring in 1996, on top of this brand new steel cage that was introduced. And this Undertaker that we started to see then would be a riskier Undertaker, because he would do things of a nature that would really open up the eyes of many fans of the World Wrestling Federation, and it opened up my eyes as well. Like, this isn't the Undertaker I remember back in 1990 and 1994. What type of Undertaker am I seeing now? And what he did on that match against Mankind 1996 King of the Ring was unparalleled. He threw him off. Undertaker threw Mankind off the steel cage. And I clearly remember Jim Ross saying, good God Almighty, he's dead, he's dead. And the Undertaker just stood on top of the cage in disbelief, like, holy moly, I might have just killed Mick Foley. What have I done? I just risked my career for life and limb, and I almost killed the guy. Thankfully, Mick Foley wasn't seriously hurt when he hit the table. He would later then fully clamp up the cage again, and the Undertaker looked in disbelief, like, are you kidding me? You want more punishment. So Undertaker would chokeslam Mankind through the center of the cage onto a ring full of thumbtacks, deliver a tombstone piledriver, and then finally put the match to an end. So that was the side of the Undertaker that we have started to see that would be more sinister and demonic. But the feud with Mankind back in the 1996 era wouldn't be the last. In Your House, the first ever Buried Alive match, October 1996. Again, it's Mankind, and again, it's The Undertaker. But this time, it's different. This time, it's The Undertaker without Paul Bearer, and it's Mankind with Paul Bearer. And we were introduced to a new match in the World Wrestling Federation at that time. A Buried Alive match. Now, I never heard of that. I know the term being buried alive, but seeing it in sports entertainment, never heard of. Unprecedented at that time. Even though it was the Attitude Era. This was something new. Now, this could be dangerous as well. One wrong move and you can be really hurt. But Undertaker and Mankind knew what they were doing. Undertaker would go on and win. But it would be a reversal of fortunes after The Undertaker is announced the winner of the 1996 Buried Alive match with Mankind. Undertaker would be buried alive by Mankind, Paul Bearer, Goldust, Crush, and I think it was Jake the Snake Roberts as the masked guy as well. And the side of The Undertaker we heard and saw would be his hand would come up from the grave. And that would be something that we would see down the road of The Undertaker in his 25 years in the business. Now, what you're about to hear, ladies and gentlemen, is his theme song that he used during the Attitude Era. And he would use this in matches against Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, The Rock, even a match with the Corporation. And that would be significant because that theme really portrayed who The Undertaker really was. He was this guy now playing mind games, playing tricks with everybody in the World Wrestling Federation. And it would lead to yet another character of of The Undertaker. One that we saw coming but didn't expect it just yet. As his career progressed and as the Attitude Era got more and more enticing and exciting, we started to see factions join together. Look at The Rock. I'll give you him as an example. He joined NOD, forming the Nation of Domination. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, forming D-Generation X. Speaking of D-Generation X, they would eventually join the corporation. But what about The Undertaker? Good thing I'm bringing this up. During the 1996 to 1998 era, The Undertaker would form what is called the Ministry of Darkness, which would then eventually be called the Corporate Ministry of Darkness. And this was a time period of The Undertaker that was becoming more sinister as his career progressed. And this next theme that he used would be a theme he would use throughout the entire Attitude Era in the World Wrestling Federation. Yes, the good old Ministry of Darkness. And this would bring out a side of The Undertaker that I remember as darker and more sinister than what I ever imagined. And this Undertaker would go on to win another WWE title in his career. And he would do things unfathomable to the naked eye today. It wouldn't even be allowed in today's WWE. In that WWE era, it got away with it. He would engage in a big rivalry of some sorts with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon. And he would go and kidnap Stephanie, have a black wedding, but then Austin comes in, engages, takes Stephanie, rescues, goes on, beats The Undertaker, and thus the rivalry is formed. So, then, as the Ministry of Darkness continued to escalate and grow, Vince McMahon then decided, I want to take advantage of this. This guy is a pioneer and a leader of the World Wrestling Federation. Why not join forces? That's exactly what he did. Took the corporation and joined them with the Ministry of Darkness, forming the Corporate Ministry of Darkness. One of the best factions of all time in the World Wrestling Federation. of that era of time. I would have to say that was one of the best moments, and I would say a highlight of the Undertaker's career right now. But we all know the Undertaker's career would get better and better and better. So now let's go down the line into one of his other memorable characters and his other memorable feuds that he's had in his 25 years of the World Wrestling Federation / WWE. We are now entering a brand new era. The Attitude Era is now over. WCW is on the verge of being taken over. What lies ahead now for the Undertaker? Well, the Undertaker has been away for quite some time. Nobody has seen him. Nobody has heard from him. People are wondering, did he all of a sudden just retire from the WWF? Nobody knew. It was later revealed that he got married to Sarah. They had a child. But it was time for him to come back. But what type of Undertaker would we see as we headed into the new millennium in the year 2000? We would see a brand new Undertaker. He would go under no longer the Undertaker. He would be now known as the American Badass. Now, let me take you to Judgment Day 2000. Rock Triple H. World Wrestling Federation Championship is on the line. Undertaker hasn't been seen or heard from the WWF in months. This match is going on, and then you hear this. And when you heard that, you heard the motorcycle, and we were all like, what the hell? And he saw it was the Undertaker, a new look Undertaker. He shaved off the long hair, he got rid of the cloak, he had on a leather jacket and a beautiful Harley Davidson bike. And he would now be known as the American Badass. And he would engage in one of the best rivalries I could ever imagine. Him and Triple H for the WWF title. And it was one of his best personas the Undertaker he's ever had. You know, never mind the fact that, you know, the Ministry of Darkness persona was great. The old Undertaker 1990 was great. 94 was great. But this Undertaker 2000 was a game changer, if you may say. We were heading into a new era of the World Wrestling Federation. The Attitude Era was put to rest. And we saw a new Undertaker, and he would no longer deliver a chokeslam or a tombstone. He would now deliver a powerbomb called The Last Ride. And and it would go on to win him many matches of that era. Unfortunately, it wasn't the WWF title, but it would go on to really escalate him on to what he became after the American Badass. Now, speaking of that, let's take you down the line. After his feuds with Triple H and other big-name superstars of the World Wrestling Federation in 2000, The Undertaker again changed his persona. Again, hasn't been seen in a while. 2003, 2004 were under a new regime on Monday Night Raw. And this is before brand extensions got mentioned. This was after WCW was out of business, filed for bankruptcy, after the Invasion segment, in which The Undertaker was part of. Many were now speculating what type of Undertaker we're going to see as we head now into 2003, 2004. Are we going to see the old Undertaker from 1990? We're going to see the Undertaker from 1994 and 96? Are we going to see the Ministry of Darkness Undertaker? Or are we still going to see the American Badass? We saw none of that. We saw a brand new side of the Undertaker, a more evil side of the Undertaker. And this Undertaker was now known as Big Evil. And this Undertaker would be a more vicious side of the Undertaker. He would be a rule breaker. We saw, with this Undertaker, nobody wanted to even face this Undertaker. He would just be unstoppable. This Undertaker, Big Evil, would be WWF champion again. But he would go on to just cause havoc. He would be a havoc wrecker in the World Wrestling Federation, now known as World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. He still had the motorcycle. He still had, the beautiful leather jacket, but his persona was totally different. He would now develop a headband, bandanas, and sunglasses, and a shirt that would say Big Evil. And this Undertaker did not win over with the fans. Because this was an Undertaker that nobody wanted to see. Why would he change into this Big Evil guy when we all remember him as a lovable American badass? But even as the American Badass, he was a rule breaker, but he was a rule breaker in good ways. So people were questioning, what has WWE done to The Undertaker? Why did they do this to him? Nobody even knows, not even me. But apparently it worked out with the WWE, and okay, yeah, it was short-lived, but it was something completely different, and okay, we haven't seen it again, but it worked out because, like I said, he won championships, he had feuds, he was an asshole, but he was an asshole that really played it very, very well. So now let's go further down the line. Let's go past 2004. Let's go into the late 2000 era. Let's go about 2005 to about 2014. After all the gimmick changes, the American Badass, the Ministry of Darkness, and Big Evil, The Undertaker is becoming a more seasoned veteran of the World Wrestling Federation, now WWE. And one has to start thinking, has his body suffered enough, endured enough? To a lot of us, we would say yes. But to him, it was no. This guy still thought, hey, I have a lot left in the tank. I'm still going to give it my all. I'm still going to be the man. So let's go now down to 2005. 15 years in the business now as The Undertaker. He's fought them all. Hogan, he's fought Mankind, he's joined forces with Vince McMahon, Triple H, he's fought The Rock, Brock Lesnar. First time Brock Lesnar, not modern time Brock Lesnar, but first time Brock. 2005 brought in yet another superstar to WWE. Randy Orton, a third generation superstar behind his father, Cowboy, Hall of Famer Bob Orton. And right out of the gate, Randy Orton was driven for success. He would join Evolution, win the Intercontinental title, go on to win World Heavyweight title gold. But then Survivor Series 2005 comes around, and he starts a feud with The Undertaker. Now, granted, we've seen different characters of The Undertaker, but this is 2005. This is a new era of the WWE. We're heading into more family-friendlier times of WWE. So what would that mean of The Undertaker? As the feud escalated, Randy Orton, The Undertaker, at Survivor Series would once again use this theme song to taunt Randy Orton. And with that song, The Undertaker as we know it was back. He would go on to beat Randy Orton. He would go on to then again beat Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Thus, the legacy of The Undertaker was growing minute by minute. So now, let's go into 2006. He already has a legacy insurmountable beyond expectations, The Undertaker. He's fought Randy Orton at Survivor Series and again at WrestleMania. What's next for The Undertaker? Shawn Michaels has an answer. He says, while The Undertaker has grown into a man of epic proportions, his legacy is insurmountable, but the streak doesn't mean a thing. Shawn Michaels vows that the heavens above will put down the man of darkness. So if you want to put it into WrestleMania terms, it was heaven versus darkness, you know. And the first match he had with Shawn Michaels I thought was really good, you know. But the second one, forget it. It was crazy. I really loved it. I really thought Shawn Michaels had it. But The Undertaker proved why he is known as the Phenom. He pulled out a lot of the stops that we thought we'd never see from a guy that's gotten older in wrestling terms, but he still put on a heck of a show, put on a heck of a match against Shawn Michaels. And thus, respect was grown towards Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. But with that being said now, The Undertaker targeted Triple H. Now, during this time frame, The Undertaker would take time off from WWE TV. His body was becoming weaker. His body was becoming more battered and bruised. So, there was a teaser going on WWE Monday Night Raw during that time that The Undertaker was coming back. I believe it was 2/11, I forgot what year. And the theme that The Undertaker used, I thought was creative. Okay? Now, like I mentioned, he's getting older. And when The Undertaker made the return to the WWE at that time, he used this theme song as his match with The Undertaker became finalized at WrestleMania. And I'm just going to give you a heads up quickly, ladies and gentlemen. This theme would go beyond anything you would ever imagine that The Undertaker would use in his career.
There ain't no grave can hold my body down. There ain't no grave can hold my body down. When I hear the trumpet sound, I'm gonna rise right out of the ground. Ain't no grave can hold my body down.
And when that theme song started playing, you would see a countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you see a door open. And out comes The Undertaker. But what kind of Undertaker? It turned out it was the Undertaker we have known from the 1990s. He came back out with the hat, and the long trench coat and the gloves and the longer hair. He came back out as the original Undertaker, and that was great because he transformed himself back to his originality rather than progress into something we did not want to see, as this was partaken into more of a more PG era type for WWE. And the first match with Triple H really was buzzworthy, okay? Really was a buzzworthy match, you know. They put on a heck of a show. And this was, you know, near the end of Triple H's career, take it. But it sure wasn't the end of Undertaker. I mean, it was getting close to it, but it wasn't nowhere near it. And Triple H lost round 1. Round 2 would be in Miami, Sun Life Stadium, home of the Dolphins, WrestleMania 28. And it was called the end of an era match at WrestleMania 28. And it was conducted inside Hell in a Cell. And this match was memorable. I mean, memorable for both men. You know, sad to say, you know, Triple H lost and the Undertaker's WrestleMania legacy grew. But the amount of respect that the Undertaker gave Triple H was great. You know, because, yeah, he put down Triple H. He put down one of the best wrestlers to date. But the respect was admirationable, and it was great. You know, these guys are going into the Hall of Fame at the end of their careers, and we got a taste of that at WrestleMania 28. But then let's go into WrestleMania 29, 2012. Superstorm Sandy hits. New York and New Jersey are battered, beaten, but they're not going to give up. So Vince says, I'm going to break away from tradition. I'm going to have WrestleMania in brand new MetLife Stadium, home of the Giants and the Jets. And CM Punk was engaged in one of the best rivalries I've ever seen him engaged in. He engaged in a big rivalry with The Undertaker. Now, this was a time that Paul Bearer passed on. And CM Punk played the mind games perfectly. I mean, he was almost like a protege of The Undertaker because of the way he played the mind games. But The Undertaker came back, avenged Paul Bearer, got the urn back, beat CM Punk. Thus, his legacy at WrestleMania continued to grow. Let's now look 2014. 30th anniversary of WrestleMania. Undertaker has been in it for 24 years. The gunslinger is starting to get old. The gunslinger is starting to wear out. One has to question, is WrestleMania 30 the end of the line for The Undertaker? When you look at The Undertaker when it comes to WrestleMania 30, it looked very much like it. That it was the end of an era. It's the end of a road for that man. This man has been through hellfire and yet brimstone. But yet, he went to New Orleans in the Superdome, went down that ramp, got in that ring, and put up a fight towards Brock Lesnar the second time around. Unfortunately, the greatest streak ever known to man came to an end. The Undertaker was beaten for the first time at WrestleMania. 21 and won. And it turned out that The Undertaker was suffering from a concussion. He collapsed, was rushed to the hospital. Vince got worried. Vince told Taker, take your time. Take as much time as you need. Take time off. He would then come back at this year's WrestleMania, target Bray Wyatt, and The Undertaker would revitalize his career. At 22-1, is this the end of The Undertaker at WrestleMania? One only has to imagine no. And I'm going to tell you why. There are rumors running rampant around the internet and around WWE right now that it has it where The Undertaker will be at WrestleMania versus Sting. But latest reports are saying that Sting might be fired from WWE, leading to the fact that maybe The Undertaker will not be at WrestleMania in his home state of Dallas, Texas. So one has to think, did we just see The Undertaker's last match at Levi Stadium in the Bay Area, WrestleMania 31? Was that the end of WrestleMania Undertaker? But as I conclude now, let's go into more recent activities of The Undertaker's matches. Let's go into Battleground. Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, WWE titles on the line. Brock Lesnar is putting a whip into Seth Rollins, and then you heard the gongs. The Undertaker would reappear on WWE TV. He would lay waste to Brock Lesnar, leading towards this SummerSlam, Brooklyn, Barclays Center, Brock, Undertaker. Who would win? Undertaker under controversy. Now, this past October, Hell in a Cell, Brock, Taker, Part 2. The final chapter. Who would win? Who would win? Turned out it was Brock Lesnar. He put the gunslinger down. But at what cost? Well, as the Undertaker laid there, the Wyatts came out, and they carried the Undertaker away. Now one was thinking, what's this setting up to be like? Are we setting up to see Bray Wyatt reemerge as the new Undertaker? Well, one was only thinking, one was probably saying, yeah, you're right. But the Undertaker would come back. But this time, he came with help. He came with his brother Kane. And just last night on Monday Night Raw, my mistake, The Undertaker and Kane laid a message to Bray and the Wyatt family for Survivor Series this Sunday night. This is vintage classic Undertaker.
Is the true army of darkness. And on the horizon horizon. Vengeance awaits the Wyatt family. The Wyatt family took our bodies and tried to claim our souls. But there is no one, no man, living or dead, that contains the power of the dark side. When you try to steal the flames of hell, you will get burnt. At Survivor Series, we have reserved a special place for Bray Wyatt and his family in the deepest pit of hell. A place where they will suffer in the fires of eternal damnation. Bray Wyatt, your kind of evil is no match for ours. Our evil has been time tested over and over again. So this is what's going to happen. Bray Wyatt, choose whichever two of your family that you wish to sacrifice, because the brothers of destruction have already decided their destiny. And they will never rest in peace.
And that message was vintage, old school Undertaker, setting the word straight that the Brothers of Destruction are never going to rest in peace. And that's why this Sunday night, Undertaker and Kane, whether it be the continuation of a legacy or nearing the end of a legacy, the Brothers of Destruction and the Wyatts are going to face off in a war of wars. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes this in-depth look at the legacy of The Undertaker. From his debut in 1990 to his original theme, to his evolution as the Ministry of Darkness, to his evolution further as the American Badass, Big Evil, and then the retransformation back to the Undertaker of old. And if you want to know more about the life and the legacy of the Undertaker, tune into the WWE Network, because this week it is Undertaker Week, taking a look back at the life and the legacy of the past 25 years of the Undertaker. Welcome back to We Love It Raw. We focused our attention on the Undertaker, let's now focus our attentions on Survivor Series Sunday night. You heard a message by the Undertaker saying that the Brothers of Destruction are never ever going to rest in peace, and you will hear the Wyatts would then respond by saying, your destiny has been met, our destiny is just beginning. You want a war? You got a war. Just be careful what you wish for Sunday at Survivor Series. So that's going to be a war. You know, young guys, older guys. The older guys, I think, are going to win. They're going to teach the younger guys a big lesson. Hey, listen, you may be the new dogs in the business, but we're the big cats who rule the yard. We run this place. So I'm looking forward to the Brothers of Destruction versus the Wyatts. I'm looking really forward to that match. And then we have the WWE title tournament itself. And this was established because of the injury to Seth Rollins, who suffered a major high-grade knee injury, torn ACL, torn MCL, medial meniscus injury in Dublin, defending the WWE title against Kane. And the videos and the pictures show it. It was a horrific injury. I saw it. It made me cringe. So thus, the WWE title tournament has been established. In it, we have top name stars in the business. We had Titus O'Neil versus Kevin Owens, Neville against King Barrett, Ziggler against Miz, Ambrose and Breeze, Kalisto and Ryback, Del Rio Stardust, Cesaro, Sheamus, Roman, Big Show. So, we start off with Roman Reigns being confronted by Triple H. Triple H made a proposal. Roman Reigns said, go shove it, you know where the sun don't shine. Triple H then puts Roman Reigns through this title tournament, puts him up against the Big Show, beats the Big Show. He's on to the second round. Then you got Cesaro and Sheamus, a former WWE champion, King of the Ring winner. Cesaro, former Intercontinental Champion and United States Champion, but never won WWE Gold. Cesaro will pull off a big win. He has a day set with Roman Reigns. Let's now look at Titus O'Neil and Kevin Owens. Need I say, Kevin Owens just destroyed Titus O'Neil. And then you got Barrett against Neville. Two guys in NXT who had a good fight, and they brought it to WWE. Now, Neville was the longest reigning NXT champion. Barrett, King of the Ring winner. 5-time Intercontinental champion. Never tasted WWE Gold. And Neville would put off a big win against Barrett. So that would be set. The quarters were set, Owens and Neville, on Monday Night Raw. Let's then look at Del Rio and Stardust. Del Rio, former WWE Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, former United States Champion. Stardust, formerly known as Cody Rhodes, former Intercontinental Champion. Del Rio put waste to Stardust. Then you have Kalisto and Ryback. Now you would think, Kalisto and Ryback would easily win. Wrong. An upset alert. Kalisto pulled off a big upset against Ryback, setting up two lucha libres, Del Rio and Kalisto, on Monday Night Raw. And then the last quarterfinal match would be set. Ambrose and Ziggler and Miz. Let's start with that. Both WWE former WWE champions, both former Intercontinental champions, both former tag team champions. One has been in movies, one hasn't been in movies. So, it was a great match. I was hoping The Miz would win, but The Miz unfortunately lost. Ziggler won. What about Ambrose and Tyler Breeze? Tyler Breeze coming up from the ranks of NXT. A strongman NXT Brooklyn. Great competitor. Dean Ambrose, former United States champion. Both never tasted any gold, whether it be in NXT or WWE. Ambrose would lay waste to Prince Pretty, setting up the last quarterfinal match, Ziggler and Ambrose. So now let's go on to tonight, to Monday Night Raw last night. Let's start with Owens and Neville. Owens, Neville, great match. Neville, I thought was going to pull it off, but he's not ready yet. Kevin Owens hit the pop-up powerbomb out of nowhere, going on to the semifinals Sunday night at the Survivor Series. Let's then look at Ziggler and Ambrose. Two great competitors in this business. Ziggler, former World Heavyweight Champion, Intercontinental Champion. Dean Ambrose, former United States Champion. Ziggler's known what it tastes like to have WWE Gold around his waist. Ambrose hasn't had WWE Gold in such a long time. Do you think he'll be in favor of Dolph Ziggler? No. Ziggler twerked his knee, had the injury. It played a major factor into the match. Ambrose took advantage, hit dirty deeds, and then set his sights now on Kevin Owens Sunday in Atlanta at the Survivor Series. Now, Ambrose then would go on and say this, that once he becomes the WWE Champion, he's going to make a lot of changes. Drinking, more language, more profanity, more on-screen time, more pyro, this and this. Dress code would be different. So, Ambrose has an agenda once he's WWE Champion. If he does get it, I want to see if he lives up to that. So that's something I thought was really creative by Dean Ambrose. But I have a scenario all set out, and I'm going to get into it in a little bit. Then we're going to go in now to Roman Reigns and Cesaro. Two high expectational superstars of WWE. Roman Reigns, a former tag team champion with the Shield. Cesaro, former U.S. and Intercontinental and tag team champion with Tyson Kidd. I thought Cesaro was going to win. Cesaro had the crossface submission lock in the middle of the ring. Roman powered out. Superman spear. Cesaro would be eliminated. Roman Reigns goes on. Now, at the end of that match, they both shook hands. Cesaro wishes Roman Reigns nothing but the best of luck. So do I. So, Roman Reigns would go on. Del Rio and Kalisto. Del Rio put waste to Kalisto. Kalisto put up an effort, but not too good of an effort. Del Rio, with the experience of being WWE Champion, knows what it takes to be WWE Champion, so he has set his sight now with Roman Reigns. So the semifinal matches are set for Sunday at Survivor Series. Reigns, Del Rio, Ambrose, and Owens. Here's how I see it going down. Roman's going to win. Ambrose is going to win. Now, if you remember 1998, the Deadly Game Survivor Series tournament for the WWE title, how The Rock betrayed his fans, what's going to happen if they go down that road again? It would be good. I want it to happen with Roman Reigns. And the rumors are running rampant around WWE that it is going to happen with Roman Reigns. It is going to be Roman Reigns as the man turning heel against Dean Ambrose, setting off a unhinged Dean Ambrose. Worse than what we see now. Knowing the fact that he got screwed over by two of his fellow brethren. So that is something to really pay attention to. Will Roman Reigns be the man that turns on Dean Ambrose? Or will we see Ambrose turn on Roman? Either way, it's going to be a Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose title final match. Who turns on who? Up in the air. But my belief and my prediction, it's going to be Roman Reigns. If you believe otherwise, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment on our YouTube page. Leave a comment on our Facebook page. I want to hear what you, our fan, have to say. What's your prediction for Sunday as the WWE title tournament comes to a close? Who do you think will be WWE champion? Do you see a turn happening from Roman Reigns? Do you see a Dean Ambrose turn? Or do you see something different? I want to hear what you say. And finally, let's talk about the contract signing for the Divas title. Paige and Charlotte. Both have won NXT Gold. Both have won the Divas title. Paige, a former two-time Divas champion. Longest reigning NXT Women's Champion, behind Sasha Banks. Charlotte, NXT Women's Champion. Current Divas Champion. Took it from Nikki Bella at Night of Champions. So this sets up a great fight for Sunday night. But it got personal. And it got personal in a heartbeat. We found out Charlotte unfortunately lost her little baby brother. And it took an emotional toll on Charlotte. But Paige didn't give a one rat's behind about that. She got into the mindset of Charlotte and brought up family. The death of her brother, calling Ric Flair an old fart. And it really aggravated Charlotte, where you could almost see steam coming out of the ears. Those two got into a big scuffle. Had to be separated. So one has to wonder, will the emotions take over Charlotte and have her lose the Divas title, making Paige a 3-time Divas champion? Or will the emotion of Paige take over, leading to her demise and still keeping Charlotte as Divas champion? Two interesting scenarios to really look out for. We're going to find this out Sunday. Sunday is shaping up to be terrific. You got the Brothers of Destruction against the Wyatts. You got the finals of the WWE title tournament, and you got the Divas match. You got 3 fantastic matches coming up. It is going to be a revisit of 1998 all over again. Let's see what happens. And that concludes tonight's episode of We Love It Raw. But before I go, I want to do something new. In the wake of recent events, I want to pay my tribute to Paris. You suffered an inexplicable attack that never should have happened. A lot of innocent lives were lost. A lot of innocent lives are hurt due to evil that wanted to cause harm, because they feel that it's all about them and not about civilization. What happened on Friday night was an act of cowardness and selfishness. A bunch of radical people who have beliefs in different values and cultures of the world caused inexplicable harm to innocent people like you and me. But make no mistake, the people of France are strong, resilient. They hold no grudge. They are not going to let what happened hold them down. They will move on. They will move on stronger. They will move on bigger. They will move on better. They already have signed a declaration of war against ISIS, the group responsible for this deadly attack, this uncalled for, sinister act. The United States has already joined forces with France, doing airstrikes on Raqqa, Syria, the home base of ISIS. Make no mistake, the weight of the world will avenge Paris. They will avenge the lives lost. They will sacrifice their own life. The United States and the coalition will lay their lives on the line to end ISIS for what they did on Friday night. The United States and the world loves you, France. You gave us a gift of peace and a gift of liberty. And we vow, along with France and the rest of the coalition, vow to fight by your side to take down this radical Islamic group. Because make no mistake, these people have no right to be on this earth. They have no right doing this. You want to cause harm, cause it amongst your others. But don't cause it amongst people like you, me, and families who have kids, families who have wives, husbands, uncles, aunts. Don't do it to them. Do it to your own people. Don't do it to us. Because payback is a bitch, ISIS. And in the words of the immortal Hulk Hogan, what you're gonna do when the weight of the world, the weight of the coalition, runs wild on you, brother. And that concludes We Love It Raw. Tuesday will be a live edition of We Love It Raw, as we are Survivor Series, post-Survivor Series, heading into the last pay-per-view of the year, TLC. So stay tuned Tuesday or Wednesday for a post-Survivor Series review show only on youtube.com/watchthe-pot. I am the boss, Chris Corey, for my partner, Mr. Caldero, who is in a world of his own, the sixth dimension, as I like to call it. We will see you Tuesday or Wednesday for post-Survivor Series review. Take care, and Godspeed, and God bless the United States and France.